What is up, guys? Kartaka here, and today I'm here with another Digimon deck profile. Today we'll be doing a blue flare deck for the DigiXros cross encounter deck. So without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. So for the Digimons, we're running the Upamons from BT1. Still a very good card for this deck because your main goal is to stun your opponent's Digimon so that they can't really do anything. So you keep them on the board while you'll be able to get some benefits off them being stuck. The other option is the new Baby Digimon. I also ran that for a bit as a playtesting, but honestly that card is not that great early game. You really need your opponent to play hardcast on Digimon in order for you to get it off, but this one, I think it's kind of easier to have them stuck with one Digimon on the board with no sources versus them having two Digimon on the board. But they're very similar, so that if you don't have access to Upamons, you can just run the Baby Digimons. Alright, next for the main deck, we are going to be running 4 of the Metal Greymon. This is the new SR from BT10. A very, very good card. It's got material save too, so when this card dies, you can save 2 of your Digimon. And on play, this Digimon gets a rush, and if you DigiXros, then on your end of the opponent's turn, 3 of their opponent's Digimon with less source than this card cannot attack or block. So you kind of have to set your cards up so that your opponent's Digimon have less sources, which is why we are running a lot of cards that can strip sources. We're gonna look at that a bit later. Next, we are going to be running 4 Decker Greymon. So this one is on play and on evolution. You can, if you have you can play a card from your hand or Tamer with blue flare in its trait under one of your Digimon's evolution sources, and if you have a Digimon in the source, one of your opponents cannot attack. Digimon cannot attack or block. So this one is a little bit less restrictive. So you just need to have Digimon in order for you to activate the skill. But the downside is it can only target 1. So kind of each his own. I honestly, the Metal Greymon is the card you're going to go into the most. But you know, this card is here for you to go end your turn, so you can armor purge. Which is very, very good. And he's also 10k, so he can beat over more things. So if you have enough memory, you can basically just go into this, stun their opponent, and then go into this and attack. That way, if you do crash into your opponent's security, you can still go back into Metal Greymon for the second attack if you do have the Greymon in source. Alright, next, let's have a look at the level 4s. We are running 4 Greymon. This is one that searches for blue flare in the traits. So as a reminder, some of the new cards search for traits, and it doesn't have to be a Digimon. So if you can search for the blazing or flare memory boost, or the Tamer, because they all have blue flare in its traits. So it's very good. And if you have a Christopher on the field instead, you can grab a Metal Greymon from your trash, and also save. So it's pretty good, and its inherent skill lets you unsuspend if you have a blue flake trait Digimon and your opponent has 2 or more Digimon on the board, then you can unsuspend your Digimon. So that's a tech. So most of the time you're just going to be attacking with your Metal Greymon, unsuspend, go back. Very, very good. The deck just runs really well by itself. Next, we are going to be running Male Bird Dramon. So this one's on play. You can, if you have a Christopher on the board, you can grab a Metal Greymon from your trash. And then if you don't have a Christopher on the board, you can play a Christopher from your hand for free. And yeah, so it's 5 cost, so it's kind of expensive, but there are ways to cheat it out. And if you have Christopher in your hand, and you just hardcast this, you're pretty much playing this for 1 cost because your Christopher already costs 4. So yeah, overall it's pretty good. Next, we are going to be running 4 Decker Dramons. This is kind of one of your unbrickers. It is very expensive at 5 costs, but you can hardcast it, and then draw 1, and also save, which helps you out a bit. Obviously not the most ideal card to start out with, but it's better than nothing. It's better than something that doesn't help you draw. Next, we're going to go into the hybrid engine. We're going to be running 3 Blizzamon and 3 of the Jakumon. So these are just your hybrid engine cards. I was running these at 4 before. I think it's a little bit too much because it does interfere with your searching for the blue flare cards. But these are very good for either finishing your opponent or just stalling your opponent. And these are cheaper cost if you have the Tommy or any Tamer on the board. So these are quite good for that. And you know, the stun from the Blizzamon is pretty good. And the strip source, the source strip from the Jakumon is also very good. So these will definitely help you out with the blue flare cards. Next, for the level 3s, we're only running the 4 Chaosmon. So this one on deletion, you can play a blue flare card from a level 4 blue flare card in rest. So what you do is basically you attack with this, you crash, and then you can play either a male bird Drummon from your hand or a Greymon so they can proc their effects. So you can either get the search, you can get the free play or the fetch, or you can also of course play the Decadrummons for the draw. But this is the last in your priorities. You're probably going to want to either play your free Christopher or your search first. Ideally it's probably a Greymon if you're early game. So there's that. And if you do use it to crash on your own turn, you can just play the Greymon as a rest through your searches. And if you have if you can DigiXros, you can just use it to DigiXros because it's suspended anyway, so you don't really need it. So it'll go into your source so that you can reset that like that. So this deck, there's a lot of really fun combos you can do with this deck, and I think as a deck that just came out this set, I think it's got quite a good build. Next, we are going to be running 4 of the Blazing Memory Boost. Yeah, it's called Blazing. Sorry, it's not Flare. Blazing Memory Boost. This helps you look at the top 6 cards of your deck, and then you can grab 2 blue flares from your hand, and then you can play a Christopher from among them without paying the cost. And then you put the rest of the bottom deck. So look, searching top 6 is pretty good, but of course it is kind of expensive at 5 cost. But and its memory gain is +2, so I guess, you know, Bandai kind of made their mistakes from the reinforced memory boost. This card's still really good though, not gonna lie. So running at 4, just because you just get so much pluses. And for Digi Crossing, you don't get the evolution bonuses, so you kind of want to find ways to replenish your hand size, which this will help. And of course, being able to save or material save also really helps you with hand size as well. Next, we are going to be running 1 Ice Ball. This is just here for a little bit of stall. It's okay okay at 1 because you're only able to play at 1, but it's still pretty good. Next, we're running 2 Howling Memory Boost. If you don't want to run the Ice Ball, you can run a 3rd Howling Memory Boost. That kind of does the same thing as just stalls your opponent out, and you can use it as a delay later on to get +2 memory. Another option is to run the blue memory boost so that you can get your searches, but I think the Howling memory boost is better for this build because you can just either strip your opponent's sources, or you can you can just stall your opponent, so it's pretty good. Next, we're going to running 3 Innocence Blizzard. This card is amazing in this deck. Crash the bottom card of all your opponent's Digimon, and then up to 3 opponent's Digimon with no evolution source can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn. So this card's really good just because it helps you stall it out. And yeah, you can trash 1 source from all your opponent's Digimon, which definitely helps out with your Metal Greymon play. Yeah, not much else to say. This card's just really good. Definitely try to play at least 1 or 2 copies of these. If you have enough space, you can run 3. Next, we are going to be running 4 Christopher Inomas. So Christopher is awesome because he can help you save your Digimon, or you use your saved Digimon from your underneath your Tamers. And I'm running at 4. I think some people prefer to run it at 3, but when I was running at 3, I don't see enough. So I think keeping it at 4 is just a bit better for me, especially, I mean, I guess all your Tamers are very useful for this deck, but I think Christopher gives a little bit of extra oomph just because if you have 2 on the field, you can just keep reusing the saves. So anyway, next we are going to be running 3 Sora and Joes. These are just here to help you strip your opponent's sources, and it helps you get extra memory. So your opponent's Digimon are stuck on the board, so as long as they have a Digimon that can't attack, can't Jogres, well, they can Jogres, but as long as they have a Digimon on the board that can't really do anything, you're going to get extra memory on your turn to use. So I want to run these at 3. And of course, the source strip is also very, very good to help you, make your Metal Greymon more useful. And last but not least, we are going to be running 3 Tommies. These are just how here, on play, you can just strip 3 off one of your opponent's Digimon. So it's pretty good, and it obviously has a security effect. So on your opponent's turn, you can do the same thing, just kind of stop them from some plays. Not a whole lot, but you can do some. And of course, the Harris skill is also very good on attack. You can choose a Digimon with no evolution sources, and it cannot attack a block. So it's good for the reason why, Blue Lock was good before. Obviously, Blue Lock was good before until, X Antibody came out, and it became not very good because you can't strip the X Antibody card. But since Metal Greymon doesn't really require you to have no evolution sources, you just have to have less. Blue Lock is viable again. So with Blue Flare, I think this deck is pretty good. It is doing very, very well in a lot of tournaments in Japan. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. There's a lot of options you guys can run instead of some of the builds I'm running here. So we're going to go over a few of the cards. So for rookies, if you're worried about not being able to just play the rookies, these are some options that you can run. These are just here these are kind of generic cards that can help you slow down your opponent's decks or just stop them from gaining memory on their turn. It really depends on what decks your opponents are using at your local, so be the judge of that on your own. And of course, the other option is the Jamming Veemon. I see some people run Jamming Veemon instead, but I don't think Jamming Veemon is as good in this deck as it is in some other decks. So I choose not to run the Jamming Veemon. I'm focusing more on the hybrid engine, just because I think the blue hybrid deck was very good before, and it's pretty good again now, but just not as good as before. Just because there's still some X Antibody decks running around, so you won't be able to use all of their abilities, but the strip source does really help as well. And another option is to run the Cyberdramon. I think some people run the new Cyberdramon from BT10. You can slot it into one of your cards by paying a cost, and it just boosts your DP numbers. I don't think it's super useful, but it is an option for you guys if you don't want to run some of the cards I'm running here. And I think, yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck, guys. If you guys want to support the channel, feel free to use the affiliate links down below. Card Trader for people not in the US, and TCG Player for you guys that are in the US. And if you guys want to subscribe, feel free to do so. And yeah, share it with your friends. But that's pretty much it for this deck profile, guys. Sorry for the slower uploads. I am just busy with work and life in general right now, so I'm kind of taking it easy and just uploading whenever I feel like it. Yeah, I should be able to upload more frequently next week, because I do have my birthday holiday next week, but I don't know, maybe I'll be doing packing my house instead, because finally renovations are happening next month. I think that's confirmed. So I should be doing some renovation stuff very soon. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. This is Karataku, and I'll see you guys next time.